This is a backstory about Zargan. Um, Zargan's full name is Zarganathar. The next heir to the throne, a prince of planet Tharius. So the first heir was Zargan's oldest brother, Garthazar. And then after him is Althazar. And then after him, Zarganathar. But when Zargan was 2 months old, there was a war. Both parents died. Both of Zargan's mom and dad, of course, have died in the war. Yes, even the mother was in the war, fighting alongside with her father, well, with his father and her husband. Garthazar, or Garth, had the privilege and his purpose during the war was to protect Althazar and Zarganathar. And he did. Hasn't been found ever since. Until the war was over. Every man, woman, and child were safe, except for those who went to war. They died. And then things were great. Garthazar became king. Althazar was next to the throne, but fell into darkness. He became evil and was now imprisoned when he was, get this, age 18. He hated the rules. He hated this so-called law that Garth put. And sure, there are some rules that do need to be changed, but there's a lot of laws that I don't want to say. And so Zargan was only 3 years old at that time. Garthazar, or Garth, is only 20. So Zargan is the youngest. Very, very young. So at that day, when there was supposed to be a huge wedding for Garth and his fiancée, his future wife, the planet had a huge quake. And the news came in saying there's no chance of survival because the planet, Tharius, is going to implode, meaning the planet's going to, from the inside out, due to the, I don't know how science works, but the planet exploded. But before it exploded, Garth took Zargan to a pod. And Zargan was very, very confused. He always asked, Garth, what's going on? Why is everyone screaming? Why is everyone running? Why is everyone terrified? Why is everyone crying? Why this? Why that? Da 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 da. And Garth had no words whatsoever because he was scared too. And even I'm getting emotional for this. So Garth put Zargan in a pot, including, and he also added Zargan's favorite toy, and Zargan's and the family photo. Zargan, Al, um, Garth himself, Mom, and Dad. And from then on, he sent the pod to Earth. Sorry, my grandma needed help, but on with the backstory. So, Garth recorded a video or a message in the pod saying, Zargan, I know this may be a heavy burden to your heart, and knowing that you are very, very young and won't be king of this planet, but which, by the way, I would love you to be king if it would have happened, but knowing there will be no survivors and the planet will implode, meaning it'll explode from the inside out. This is going to be the last message from me. And I've always wanted to let you know that I love you, and I'll always be with you in your heart. My strength is yours, and don't forget about me. And from there, Zargan kept, and well, he cried and cried and cried, kept on crying. And from there, he completely forgot about who his other brother is, or was, who was Althazar. And Althazar have never been met or seen by Zargan due to Al's, what he did in the past. So Al is in prison somewhere in space, and yeah. And then from there, Zargan's pod crash landed in a forest, but it was more of a trail than a forest. And from there is when these two happily married couple, mom and dad, future mom and dad of Zargan, found a pod, and the husband, which you will know his name in the future, I'll tell him now. So the husband, Eric, went to the pod with caution, and he looked through the window, like the casing of the pod, and in there was a young boy. And the wife, Heather, asked, honey, what's going on? What is it? And Eric replied, you're not going to believe this. It's a boy in some kind of a ship. And so the pod opened and took the boy home. But the thing is, Zargan was asleep at that time. And from there, sorry for the multiple pauses there. So when Eric and Heather took Zargan home, the pod disappeared and went somewhere, which Zargan doesn't know where, and even I don't know where it is until the first story goes in. So Eric and Heather went to their car and took Zargan home to their home, put him in bed, and from there he started to live on Earth. And then his life story goes on, going from elementary to like middle school, high school, college, and then now he has a job as a farmer, or not a farmer, but a pharmacist, or something like that. Well, he worked at a hospital as a pharmacist, so whatever. And he's a really smart guy, I'll tell you that much. And then one time he found and then once he went home, he found his favorite, let's say dog, a pet, like a stuffed dog, like a toy dog, on his bed. And he was just there, holding it, and felt something weird, like an oddly shaped, whatever it was, in the back left foot. So he grabbed scissors, cut it, and took it out. It was a crystal. And he didn't know what it was until he felt some kind of this energy. So, he kept it on around. Well, technically it was a necklace, and then from there he wore it, and just probably did nothing with the necklace, just wore it around his neck, and then slept. And after that, once he woke up, he was floating up in the air, and he was confused, like, okay, what's going on? And then he went downstairs to eat breakfast, said good morning to his mom, good morning to his dad. And when he tried, and of course they said good morning back, and then tried to eat breakfast, like, bread, eggs, ham, bacon. And when he tried to pick up the fork, it gave him a bit of a shock, like a static shock, like just. And he was confused. Even his mom and dad was confused. And he tried to pick it up again. Nothing happened. And he's like, okay. And he ate, drank juice, apple juice, and then went to work. And then from there, he kept on getting shocked, like anything metal or electric, like when he turned on the switch, he got shocked. When he tried to touch the metal table, he got shocked. When he pressed the elevator button, he got shocked. And something was, he was confused on why he was getting shocked and didn't get hurt. because usually when we get shocked, it's like, ooh, ow, static shock. But for him, just okay. She just brushed it off like it was nothing, you know. And then somehow the pod reappeared, but at a like at a basement that like of the house. And so um Zargan's Earth father told actually asked Zargan if he can bring more of more of the canned soup that they store in the basement. So he went there and then found a floating pod right there where everything was like just empty and there was nothing there, like just dirt. And then he just got confused of why there was a thing there, like a pod or a spaceship. And then Zargan went upstairs and said, "Hey, Dad, do you know? There's a did you build something downstairs? Like I think like a spaceship or some pod?" And he's like, "No, no, I never made anything or bought anything." So he looked at the doorway toward the basement, and of course he set it down and went back downstairs. And then Zargan actually went to the pod and it opened by itself. And in that pod was a flashing blue light. So, like with curiosity, he pressed it. And then came a message from his father, his biological father. And the message said this: "Zargan, my son, you may not remember me, but I am your true father from Planetharius. I know that you're confused about these incidents that you've been having, like getting a lot of electricity shocks and electricity, surges and stuff. But don't worry, don't be scared. It's not the necklace, it's actually you. You have the power of thunder and lightning, or in this case, electricity." And from there, and he also, and the message kept on going. And at the end of the message, he said, "I'm sorry that I wasn't there for you in your life, and including your mother." And of course, his mom actually came up and showed herself in the message saying, "Hi, honey." So Zargan just stood there, like teary-eyed of joy and happiness. And yeah, so, but in Earth, his name was not Zargan. Zargan's Earth name is Paul. And so, yeah, your true name is Zargan. if like if and I would like to remind you that if you have forgotten your name, which he did due to the bump on the head after the crash. And yeah, so and then from then on, he met up with a few of his friends back in college after he was done with his pharmacy job at the hospital, because he was let go due to the due to the money and the currency, and the uh, the business was going was what do you call that, was the business was well, sorry, the pharmacy was going out of business. There we go. I'm sorry, I just and yeah, so Zargan got let go. He went back to college, met up with some friends, and then when he was with his friend, not the quote unquote, but when Zargan was with his friend in the bathroom, Zargan sneezed, and the window just happened to shatter, and Zargan's friend John actually saw that in first hand, and Zargan's like, oh crud, and John's like, what the heck? I don't know about you or me, but that was one heck of a sneeze. Like a super sneeze. Are you really Superman? And he's like, no. And you do know Superman's not real. He's a movie actor, a character in Superman. I mean, and John's like, hey, one can drink, I'm like, and Zargan's like, yeah, sure. So, and then from then on, Jonathan and Zargan built their own lair underground of their house that they both live in together. And Jonathan made a suit. Well, Jonathan made Zargan's super suit, and bada bing bada boom, done. Zargan became a superhero. But so Zargan, or at this point, Paul, told Jonathan his full story. Well, the thing that he knows. And Zargan, or Paul, took Jonathan to his parents' house and went downstairs to the basement and showed Jonathan the pod. And he's like, holy Krypton, this is cool. And yeah, and Paul was like, yeah, let's keep the whole Superman thing just non-existently appear in this of our lifestyle, And like, hey, and of course Jonathan, being a huge DC fan and Marvel fan, Jonathan goes out like forever making quotes, like saying quote after quote after quote that from Marvel and DC and other TV shows that Jonathan actually watches. Total nerd, but hey, he's a cool guy. So yeah. So Paul told Jonathan his real name, Zarganatharius, or Zarganathar, Prince Zarganathar, or Zarganathar, Prince of Planet Tharius, but that blew up, and showed him his picture. Mom, Dad, Garth, me, and John said, like, okay, but who's that? Pointing at Althazar, and he's like, I don't know. Huh. And from there, the story keeps on going, and it's gonna take like a whole hour to, get it through. So I hope you guys like the backstory. I'm sorry for the pausing and the awkwardness of repeating the words and such. So if you want me to tell you guys more about Zargan / Paul and his friend Jonathan and his soon-to-be girlfriend when he finds one in, in college, which I won't tell her name yet. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching and listening to Zargan's backstory. I will have this video be called that, Zargan's backstory. Zargan's backstory. Sorry about the saliva there. And the description, I will think of something. And as always, subscribe if you haven't, like the video if you haven't, shared this, and share my YouTube video with your friend and family and such. And I'm very sorry for having, a lot of vlogs and others, like, I mean, I rarely post. I rarely post YouTube, which I really gotta do. But hey, I also do TikTok also. I also do TikTok too. Not like I'm in Timbuktu. I know that was stupid. Sorry, but either way, I've been talking way too much. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.